Everybody to the August 11th MPC meeting. I'll just take a roll call of everybody who is here. Councillor Wilson sends his, he's out doing farming business and couldn't make this meeting. So I believe, Glenn, you're on the line?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. So we've got Member Bigger, Link, Lawson, Armstrong, Kester, and Eichert here. So I guess we'll get this show on the road. We are conducting this meeting via conference call in accordance with Municipal Government Act, Section 199. Please note this call is being transcribed and will be uploaded to our website. To eliminate background noise, please mute your phone when you're not talking. If you submitted a comment request, the chair will call on you at the appropriate time. The chair may also openly ask for comment and concerns about the public relating to a particular topic at this time. Phone lines will be unmuted. If you'd like to speak, please state your name. We ask that only one member of the public speak at a time. Everyone has the right to be present at this meeting. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the chair as per the Municipal Government Act, Section 198. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding. Just a note on the voting. We will ask anyone on the commission if they are against the motion. If there is no dissenting vote, the motion will pass. If there is a dissenting vote, I will take a roll call to determine the outcome. Okay, we have we got a copy of the minutes of the agenda in front of us. Are there any changes?
None from administration.
And we have the adoption of the minutes of the agenda. So moved. We have the, thank you, Ben. We have the minutes of the July 14th, 2020 in front of us. Oh, sorry, will everybody vote on the agenda? See no dissenting votes, hearing no dissenting votes. That is a yay. So that's a win early in the day. Pretty good. Adoption. We got a copy of the minutes in front of us. Can I have one of the members adopt? Thank you again, Ben. Oh, that was Scott? Yeah. So sorry, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Anybody against not seeing anybody or hearing anything? We have adopted the minutes. We are now on to development permit applications. 2.1 DP 2020-078. Take it away.
Good morning. I'm Suzanne Hayes, Development Officer with Wheatland County, and the application before us is DP 2020-078. It is for a bed and breakfast. So I am going to jump to the appendix, and we're going to look at Appendix A on page 13 for the location plan. It is within the boundaries of the hamlet of Rosebud, but on the east side of Highway 840, adjacent to the curve there. We circulated to, if you go to Appendix B on page 13, we circulated to the area. It looks a little bit confusing on here because when you touch a parcel, it highlights anything adjoining that parcel. So we did circulate to adjacent +1, and we did a few extra. We tried to do the nearest residences to this parcel. We haven't received any comments from any of the residents that we circulated to. If we did also circulate to Alberta Transportation because of the proximity of this parcel, Highway 840. We're now looking at Appendix C on page 14. And Alberta Transportation, they already did give their approval for the construction of the dwelling back in 2014, but they are going to be reviewing, ask for a new roadside development permit, which they are reviewing. The applicant has submitted it for the bed and breakfast, and because they also want to place some signage around this area, which is under the jurisdiction of Alberta Transportation. So they are looking at those two items. Alberta Health Services was circulated because the application includes the serving of breakfast And I didn't know if they would have any requirements, but they have not responded yet. However, they are aware of the application. So if we go to Appendix C, here we are, page 14 again. So it is a 1.52 acre hamlet residential general parcel. It has an existing 632 square foot single family dwelling, which is here, and then this larger dwelling that is the subject of this application for the bed and breakfast. If we go to Appendix D, here is a site plan which is labeled on page 15. Each dwelling has an existing access off of the service road. So here is the existing little residence, and here is their larger dwelling. They each have their own access. Parking for this application for the bed and breakfast is on their adjacent parcel to the south. And so they're proposing 6 parking spaces here in front of this shop. Both residences are utilizing municipal water and wastewater services. The parking being on this parcel does require a variance because the land use bylaw says that when you're doing a development, you should have your parking on the same parcel. So that is a bit of a variance, but they are both owned by the same landowner, and it is very close to the bed and breakfast. If we go to page, there's just a photo, Appendix E there on page 15, a photo of the residence right now, a portion of it. Page 17 in Appendix E is the future land use concept for Rosebud from the Rosebud ASP. So here is the subject parcel. So it does meet the vision of the ASP, which says that we would like to provide added capacity for visitors. And the future land use concept identifies this as a mixed-use parcel, which allows for a mix of commercial and residential. So expanding beyond this may trigger the need to rezone to a mixed-use parcel if they wanted to add any more commercial-type uses or anything beyond a bed and breakfast. The land use bylaw, it does meet the requirements for the bed and breakfast, which only allows 4 units for rental. So that's why I'm saying if they did want to add more, because the dwelling does have the space to add more rental units. So if they did want to do that, they may have to rezone, and we would look at that. It does align with the MDP as it provides employment for residents within close proximity of their home. So this, on page 16 in appendix, page 16, this is the parking area in front of the shop on the adjacent parcel to the south. This is prior to them, of course, developing it more into a parking area, but that's where the location is proposed.
You guys are video conference day.
So on the agenda page where we have the conclusion and the recommendation, staff are recommending approval of the bed and breakfast with the proposed conditions based on the following. The application aligns with the hamlet vision provided in the ASP. This residence and proposed parking area are separate from all of the other residential areas within the hamlet, which mitigates impacts to other residents. A condition has been added to ensure AHS involvement for food service if required. Any expansion or added uses will require the appropriate approvals or rezoning if necessary. A safety code inspection for a bed and breakfast will be required. And Alberta Transportation approval is required for signage and any other requirements that they deem appropriate. And the applicant has been in contact with them already. So MPC has the standard 3 options to consider on page 11. And that concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Commission, we have a motion before us. Yes.
Question, difficulty understanding why they, I can ask for boundary adjustment to include the parking area, so that it's all on one parcel. I know they own both parcels, but they're 2 separate titles. what happens down the road when they sell the self-title.
I guess the applicant is requesting a variance to that. We didn't, contemplate a boundary adjustment, so.
But it'll be an easement down the road if somebody else buys that, then he's gotta get an easement from whoever's, don't deal with easement. Plus, if he adds to the building and adds more occupancy, it's also gonna affect that parking area, right? Only allowing four or five parking stalls, so if you add more living space in there to more residents down the road, it's gonna affect that. Personally, I would like to see them apply for boundary adjustment as one of the conditions and include that parking area in the title. My opinion.
Thank you, Ben. Any other? Yes, Scott?
Is this the same parcel that we had someone present to us, I don't know, a year ago or so about wastewater problems? And if so, has that been addressed?
I believe it was mentioned in the report that they are tied into.
Yes, but there
Yeah.
was problems with
Oh, right,
the existing
exactly.
pump, or, I can't remember exactly, there was a gentleman that was before us, the council, I think it was, talking about the issues, and I don't know if the issues have been resolved or not. So is this gonna compound those issues if we have multiple users on there?
I circulated to all of our internal, departments and did not receive any comments about that.
I've noticed that, but
Yes.
I just wondered, like, because we took time to listen to the gentleman about the problems, and no action was taken from our side, I believe. It was more on his side. So just wanted to make sure that that's fixed, being that you're gonna allow public into a building. You just don't need those kind of problems.
No, I'm just trying to remember. It was something about a lift pump or something like that, that the size of the lift pump and all that kind of stuff, so.
Hello,
Yes, Glenn?
I got a comment, yeah. Yeah, he did come in and what he was asking for was, he has to pump up that hill to, discharge his, effluent. And he needs a bigger pump than everybody else does in the hamlet. And, I'm thinking, hoping that the county would, compensate him in some way, either by a pump or, his other option was that, we put a little bit, if you know Rosebud, down that access road going to the seed plant. The county installed a sandy dump for trailers, and presently the county, when that gets full, we just get a back truck in and we suck it out and dispose of it. He was hoping that the county would put a pump in there and pump it into Rosebud sanitary system. And maybe, I think, is maybe a future plan as development goes. But right now, as you know, Rosebud has no capacity in their sanitary sewer. And we're hopefully going to move ahead and build a new lagoon. I think when that lagoon is built, we would have all kinds of capacity to service that sanitation. And then we could certainly look into tying a sanitation into the Rosebud system. And it's not only just this residence, there are two other residents down there that have to pump the same hill. So it's just not his issue. He was just looking for a more cost-effective thing for him, being that he had to buy a bigger pump. And if he adds these bed and breakfasts on, he's going to, of course, be pumping more. So, and I believe he has, I don't know if this is the end of his dream, and I'm thinking he might want to expand it. Like Ben says, what happens in the future when we expand? I don't have a problem right now giving them a variance for the parking in that parcel, but I think any future expansion should be noted to them that we want to have the parcels, like Ben said, a boundary adjustment and have it tied to that parcel. I'm thinking when it comes to that, just a little bit of history. This building he's built it all himself, and it looks great, and he's put a lot of sweat into it. Originally, when you come to council or come to the commission for this, we had no capacity, same as we had no capacity for NIB's development on the hill. So NIBS, if they wanted to continue, they could put a tank in and pump it out themselves and wait for a new sewage lagoon in Rosebud. And the same type of offer was made to this gentleman. So being that we're building one and we're presently pumping and 3 bed and breakfasts, it's maybe a little bit of a stretch, but we haven't allowed any new developments. But being that we're approved and we got a letter from transportation or infrastructure saying the funding is there, I believe, hopefully we get this project done and we'll have lots of capacity. So I don't have a problem okaying it as it is, but any future development, yes, we have to have that land boundary adjustment and parking and everything else. But he needs some income, I'm thinking, to get some of this stuff done. And if we have to force him into a boundary adjustment, of course, that's another charge. And we know that takes a long time to get a boundary adjustment done too. So having said that, I'll move that we accept this application as is. I don't know if you want to put in the conditions that any future development we want this land sold up, or we just put a note in his file and let him know. Either way, I'm okay. I don't know if we can put that kind of a condition on this development because it's for future development, but I would like it into his file so the next time staff open it up, they see that it's been talked about. Everybody's aware of it. We got to have a boundary adjustment done. If there's any other questions? Yeah.
Through the chair, back to you, Glenn. I would rather see it in the conditions of this development so that it's on record, not just in the file, that any further expansion, then there would have to be a boundary adjustment to include the parking area. My other question is he using the dump station at the trailer park, or is he into our system?
He's into our system. I don't believe there's anything into the trailer park. Okay. And I don't know if there's capacity up for that Sandy station to have a bigger, if it was built to accommodate these residents, or if another cistern. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. That would be a question you'd have to ask staff.
No, as long as he's working as long as he's in our system and we're not paying to remove it from the other site, that was my concern. But I would ask for a friendly amendment to include the clause in there that if there's any further development on that parcel, that the boundary adjustment be put in place to include the parking area. That way, like you said, it does take a while to do it, but he knows that it's a condition of any further development.
Okay, I'm acceptable to that, and I guess development. This is a question for staff. Development includes more uses of this building as it stands. Should I just put it that way? That's would be considered development. A development isn't necessarily building something that isn't there now.
Correct. If he did expand the business or even add to the business. That would add more parking if he had added a retail component or something. If it was mixed use, he would probably have to go to mixed use, but that would be considered expansion.
Okay, thanks, Suzanne.
Um,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Can you weigh on this, Matt? That would be added, point 11 would be in a future boundary adjustment, like?
Yep. So just through the chair to the commission, this additional condition is fine. Now, as Suzanne indicated, if there was additional uses or an expansion on the site, it would definitely require additional parking. So if a boundary adjustment, condition 11, any expansion of the site to accommodate more rental suites or additional uses will require a boundary adjustment to accommodate parking on site, maybe have that in there as well. To Commissioner Kester's point, just with regards to the servicing in the lagoon, I'm going to venture a guess that our Public Works Department did take that into consideration as that project is going forward. So we can certainly double check, just to kind of ease any discussion around that for the commission's sake, just with regards to the pump and anything that was discussed last year. I do recall that. I just didn't specifically think about this site specifically, but certainly that's something to consider, so we can look into that. But I think that condition 11, with regards to the boundary expansion, that is sufficient. We can certainly put that on the permit.
Okay, so we have a motion in front of us with condition 11 added, sponsored by Member Kester. All in favor? Oh, sorry.
In favor.
Sorry, Glenn. Anybody opposed? That's my own rules, and I screw up. It's nothing new, though, I guess. Hearing no dissent, this passes. So we are now on to 2020-079, same property, I believe.
So this application, if we go to the location plan on Appendix A, page 23, it is the same site. It is the existing residence that was on this site, apparently for about 80 years. It is also on the east side of Highway 840. It's in the hamlet boundaries. We circulated again to the same group of residents. We didn't receive any responses. We didn't circulate this to Alberta Transportation as the dwelling was already in use and was constructed many, many years ago, so we didn't circulate to transportation on this one. If we go to the aerial photos in Appendix C on page 24, again, there is the site and there's the parcel. If we go down to page 25, Appendix D, we can see I've made a yellow square around the proposed dwelling accessory. This would, the larger dwelling would become the primary dwelling, which has the bed and breakfast in it, which has been approved. So here's the existing access that goes to the accessory dwelling. It is, the single family residence on there is 3,600 square feet, and this one is 632 square feet, so it definitely meets the size ratio. Also, the ratio says it can't be greater than 800 square feet within a hamlet, so it meets that as well. Both residences are using municipal water and wastewater. There was a water well on the parcel before, but the applicants, I think the decommissioning is now complete. They did receive funding from Wheatland County, and they went through that process. This existing dwelling doesn't meet our current setback to the river, Rosebud River there, but because it was built so long ago, it is considered legal non-conforming. It also meets the vision. If we look at Appendix E, we get into some photos. It meets the vision of the ASP, which asks for added capacity for residents as well as for visitors, so places to live. It meets the requirements of the land use bylaw for a dwelling accessory, and it does meet the MDP because it offers residents a greater variety of housing options. So the conclusion, which is found within the report, staff are recommending approval of the dwelling accessory with the proposed conditions based on the following. It aligns with the vision provided in the ASP. The building itself has been on site for 80 years. The applicant would probably apply to make it an accessory building if it wasn't approved as a dwelling. The parcel has adequate room for both dwellings and provides additional residential support within the hamlet. So MPC has 3 options, standard 3 options, and that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. We have a motion before us.
I'll move that we accept this as a dwelling accessory. And if there's not any questions, I'll try and answer.
Thank you, Glenn. Anybody opposed?
So this,
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
yeah, sorry, this is, it says this parcel size is 152. So is that a separate title within the other one, or is that just the size of that?
I think that's the size of that whole parcel, is it not?
Correct. The whole parcel.
Okay, sorry.
And I'm thinking too, when you look at the pictures, there's ample room on that parcel for parking, but if you're familiar with it, it's all treed up and nice, and I guess the option would be theirs if they come forward. So it's a nice little property down there by the river. And for there, just a little bit more, that river it does wash the banks like every other place along that creek, river, landslides and stuff, but it seems to be affecting the other bank more. So that's the other bank is the one the golf course has had to shore up a few times with rock and armor it. But that bank seems to be, because of the way the flow is, I don't know, but luck, whatever. It seems to be staying for the last 80 years there anyway.
Thank you, Glenn. Anybody on the commission opposed? Hearing nothing, seeing nothing. This is passed. We are now on to subdivision applications. We're doing SD 2020-010.
Good morning, MPC members. It's Graham Allison here, presenting the subdivision application SD 2020-10 to subdivide one 10.79 acre agricultural general parcel out of an undivided quarter section known as Northeast 242619 west of the 4th. Referring to the location map on page 31 of your MPC package, the parcel is adjacent to Range Road 190, north of its intersection with Township Road 263, approximately 24 kilometers northeast of Hussar. Staff circulated this application to internal and external agencies and to adjacent landowners within a 1-mile radius of the subject lands. No objections were received. A tentative plan on page 32 of the MPC package will show that the proposed parcel contains a dwelling with an attached garage and is serviced by an existing well and septic system. The proposed parcel can be accessed with an existing approach off Range Road 190. A new approach will need to be constructed for the remainder parcel, as noted in the conditions in the planning report. The dwelling and remainder parcels are both zoned agricultural general district, and there are no proposed redesignations or development for either parcel at this time. The proposed generally aligns with the strategies, objectives, and policies within the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, the Regional Growth Management Strategy, the Municipal Development Plan, and the Land Use Bylaw. The proposed parcel is serviced by its own private well and septic system. As per the Municipal Government Act, municipal reserve is not required on the subject parcel, as Section 663 states that a subdivision authority may not require the owner of a parcel land subject to a proposed subdivision to provide reserve land or cash lieu if the subdivision is first lot subdivided from a quarter section. The proposed subdivision is a first parcel out, and therefore municipal reserve will not be required. Administration is recommending that Municipal Planning Commission approve the subdivision application SD 2020-10, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. We have a motion before us. MPC's wishes.
I'll move to accept it with conditions if there's no objections.
Thank you, Ben. Just a question, has there ever been a subdivision first out that's ever been not approved? Like, is that
Yes, there used to be quite a bit, and then they'd appeal it to the province, and the province always gave it.
it's just a given, right? Like,
Well,
now
it
now
turned
it is.
into that, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'll call to vote. Any members against SD 2020-10? Hearing nothing, that is approved. We are now moving on to SD 2020-11.
Good morning, everybody. Megan Williams here, Planner 2 for Wheatland County, here to present subdivision application SD 2020-011, starting on page 35 of your MPC package. The subject parcel is 158.83 acres in size and is located approximately 3 kilometers east of Langdon, north of Township Road 232 and Range Road 265 intersection. The location plan can be found on page 40 of the MPC package. The application is to subdivide approximately 5 acres from the parent parcel. This will be the first parcel out of the quarter section. They did redesignate this 5 acres to country residential earlier this year. So when we circulated it, Alberta Environment and Parks did voice concerns regarding the apparent water bodies within the proposed parcels. However, Water Boundaries did confirm that there were no Crown claimable water bodies. ATCO Pipelines provided a list of considerations for future development, and Public Works requested the approach be constructed to county standards. Staff circulated landowners within 1.6 kilometers of the subject parcel and received no written comments. The aerial imagery is on page 41 of the MPC package. There's no proposed development at this time, and the existing development is residential in nature. It meets the existing it meets the minimum setbacks to the proposed parcel boundaries. The proposal generally supports strategies, objectives, and policies within the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, Regional Growth Management Strategy, and Municipal Development Plan. These plans typically recommend reducing agricultural fragmentation, and as the subdivision encompasses, or as a proposed subdivision encompasses the existing yards, the proposal generally aligns with these objectives. And no municipal reserve is required from this proposed subdivision as per MGA Section 663. Administration is recommending that MPC approve subdivision application SD 2020-011, subject to the conditions listed in administration's recommendations on page 35. MPC's options are to approve, to not approve, or to approve an alternate recommendation. This does conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Megan. I'll move that we accept subdivision 2020-011 with recommendations. Any discussions? Hearing none. It passes. Okay, are there any other planning matters? No other planning matters? Nothing in closed sessions? We are done. Thank you very much. Thanks, Glenn.
You're welcome. Have a good day.